Hello, thank you for joining me. This video is about Mars being in Gemini. So as you know, Mars is obviously not an enemy of Mercury, who rules Gemini. And Gemini is the third house of the natural zodiac. So it's what it is. It's an upachaya house, which means that basically it gets better with time. So third house, whichever house it is in our charts, say for example for a Leo it would be Libra. So the functions of Libra for a Leo ascendant takes a little bit of time to develop. But then also their 11th house is also their the natural third house of the zodiac. So it just means that, again, 11th house naturally is an upachaya house as well. So for these people, for example, Leo ascendants, the longer they're in friendships, things get better for them. They need that element of trust and to be able to share and be authentic with their friends. So yeah, let's talk about Mars a little bit, and then we go into Gemini. So this movement of Mars in 2023, because today is obviously 9th of March 2023, and this happens literally at midnight on the 13th of March. So what happens is Mars goes in an unfriendly sign, Gemini, and Gemini, Mars is all doing. It's planet of energy, getting the job done. It's just logical, it's direct, and it doesn't use words to manipulate anything, because words and manipulation is something that Mercury does. And Mercury is literally the little player of the zodiac, and for all of us, we all get better with time on how we use our Mercury, our speech, and put our intentions out, if you like. So when Mars goes there, Mars is direct, wants to sort things out. So we can actually be a little bit direct with, and a little bit too keen, I guess, to send our message out. So it could just be like, it could be not nicely dressed, if you like, because Mars wants to get the job done. And words are a very, very effective way of getting things out, getting people to do things for us, or just shows our tone, and all of that shows how grateful we are, how appreciated the person is, etc. So Mars obviously is not the planet of polish, really, if you like. So it's not going to dress up when somebody who's got Mars Atmakaka or Mars very strong in their chart, or not, actually even weak Mars is a bit like, perhaps worries about things a bit more, but Mars, when it's so strong, it tends to just like, it comes out. So and they're just direct, so it doesn't mean that they don't do it in a bad way or anything. But I would probably say actually Mars and, like Sun and Saturn are really, really like arch enemies. Mars and Mercury are exactly the same. They are really bad enemies. The effects are probably not as bad as Saturn's Sun. Saturn's Sun, can really affect our frame, and it could really take the person, we could be hard on ourselves, if you like, and always feel like we are trodden on or something like that. But whereas Mars in Mercury signs, Mercury in Mars signs, it's completely different. It's like, it's very direct, particularly this situation where it's happening on the 12th. So it's like very, very direct, and it's saying it as it is. So so we have to watch our speech, because it's also it could also be that if we've been holding a lot of things for a long time and not really, because if the Mars is a little bit difficult, normally in your chart, and now in transit has gone into Gemini, and all those things that have been suppressed in you can just blurt out. And sometimes, a purge is not a bad thing. I've learned, all my life I've been really sort of trying to be very diplomatic, but I just can't do that. Since this last 3 years has, this situation started around the world, I think for the first year or so, I was very like, keep zip it up, and unfortunately I can't do that anymore, because also we've had all these new moon and full moon in Sagittarius. I have planets in Sagittarius, so it's really difficult for me to just sit back and not say anything. But I'm still not fully able to express myself, just because of the Mars situation, my third house thing in my chart, you know, so it's a bit difficult for me. But I take my hat off for the people who always speak their truth. They don't want to, just because I tend to do things according to the situations I'm in. So I watch who I'm with. But I think those people are always the same. I take my hat off to you. It's amazing. And those people who've been awake and alert, and you know, forever, and particularly this last 3 years, and they've just spoken their truth. Hurrah to you, because you guys are going to be the leaders in the future. So yeah, so we got this situation now. So Mars is like literally blurting out the because it's opposite Sagittarius, so it's blurting out the message, the truth message. And it's like Mars can't really stop itself from doing that, because it just needs, all these truths need to come out. So the whole aspect of Mars on Sagittarius is having this massive effect. So this is not going to be the Mars that was really diplomatic, and I'm not saying it's not honorable, because I do think Mars is an honorable planet, generally speaking, anyway. But now, you know, what it is doing also, but maybe we are also catching people out who are maybe, you know, a partner who's been lying for a long time, or maybe like we have been lying to ourselves about a relationship. Things like that would definitely come out. It could also be that Mars is also basically is the indicator of younger siblings, and also third house is of natural zodiac. Gemini is also the third, has got those indications. So maybe we are being truthful and expressing ourselves to our you know, younger siblings too, you know, and sometimes I think those truths, when they come out, they can be a little bit shocking. But then what happens is we pave the way, we talk about the things, because that's again Mars being in Gemini can logically navigate itself through all these difficult issues with communication. So as Mars now is literally working its way through the sign of Gemini, things will just start to come up, because it will be traveling the end part of Mrigashira nakshatra, which is literally all about searching. So it could also make us, because 8th house of natural zodiac is ruled by Mars, so we might actually research all the information that has not been making sense to us. We should try and find the answers for that, and then speaking our truth. So it might be that we had heard something, probably we didn't hear it. If it was the truth, it wouldn't have been the truth from mainstream media or any of the social medias, because they've been literally hushing people up for 3 years now. I think now I realize that's been going on the whole time since 1950s, when we actually were, well, people in a way, you know, they were just saying that it's the latest thing, you should have it. So of course it is, because it's like it's in the room, and what it does is stops the conversations, stops people from eating at the table, stops people like in the 50s, you know, I mean, obviously I wasn't born there, but I watched this interview with this guy who was like an actor at the time, you know, and he was saying, like, you know, he remembered like his parents and everybody, all the neighbors used to, in the evenings, particularly in the spring, summer, autumn evenings, they would be out in the parks talking. They would go to like the social clubs or the churches, place of worship, etc. Or even when they used to go like to the local shop, everybody would talk to each other. So if somebody, for example, was poorly, or somebody had lost their job, the community will get together and they will cook for them, or they will just help them out with things. If somebody had a baby, etc., they will help each other out. And it just said literally overnight, once the first television came out, people stopped doing this walking and chatting, and I mean, obviously that was a way of people meeting as well, so relationships would start because families would know each other, and there was this just that security and the comfort that of the community was very much there looking out for each other. And then obviously the first TV came in a neighborhood, and then people would gather around there, and then everybody within short period, you know, they were actually encouraged to buy them because there was higher purchase, so they could buy and pay. And in a sense, really, since then we've been a bit programmed, really, in a sense, because we just think that, you know, the conversation should be about the latest reality TV show, and what we see on TV is real. And even though they show us, literally, they show us that it's quite a lot of CGI, etc., going on, green screens and things, but we still kind of think that they are, you know, they're really real. What comes out of the newscaster's mouth, all of those things, we just imagine that it's real. So so this is the situation, like on a broader spectrum, if you like. And Gemini, generally speaking, Gemini is also very gossipy too. It's not like you know, because it's the sign of learning and friends, hobbies, short distance travel, interests, doing things, being busy, all the creative things you do with your hands, make with your hands, and learning and workshops and things like that. So, but obviously it's so different to what would be Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the higher wisdom, it's the learning of the ancient knowledge, high wisdom, all those kind of things. It's like inner knowing, inner, you know, when you go quiet and tap into your intuition, where you actually open your pineal gland, and you can actually get like real inspired speech from above, you know, because we have this massive pool of help that we can tap into if we were to just disconnect from all those things that are third house and more concentrate. I mean, that's the thing, all the answers to any house that you have issues with is always lies in the house opposite. So that's like literally it's almost like Mars is saying, you know, disconnect with his house and come over to the this, you know, this belief systems and the culture things to do with like how the family was, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so that higher learning is very much activated by Mars being in Gemini. So what you will find is like well, I how I see this actually, because I think there has been so many porcupines told by the mainstream media and the press and everything. You realize BlackRock, you know, owns all of these businesses. You know, there was a time when we had 90 something plus companies that they used to print newspapers, and now there are only 6. But then when you look at it, they're just owned by 2 biggest companies in the world. So the message is exactly what they want to push out, if you like. So we are being told literally everything is like almost like written, and if you go through all the TV channels around the world, they're just saying the same message, really. So it's almost like they're reading from a script. So I think actually what's happening on a mundane level is very much like because what happens is Mars represents the army, the forces, military. And military, I think, because we know there's a lot of truth is now coming out, huge amount of, you know, but it's been trickled down, because trickling down the thing is going to help people who have been kept within the matrix of all the web of lies that we've been fed for so long, and to break people who have, you know, all of us, me included, we've been conditioned for so long to think that, you know, we're not as good as these sort of people, and these people have got privilege because of this, and the system is like this, and we just literally, well, government, what's government? Meant is your head, govern our head, you know, they're just being governing our mind, literally. So I think it's slowly to actually break the whole thing down. This is happening now, and I dare say now, between this day the 13th, and then Mercury becomes debilitated in Pisces as well. There's going to be like magical things happening because Mars is going to activate the I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, I think a lot of people have been arrested. A lot of people have been coercing people to take things that it's none of their business. Your health, your well-being is nothing to do with. That is not somebody who's famous or a footballer or an actor or even a government minister. It's none of their business what we do with our health. Our health, we are sovereigns. It belongs to us. So I think that this is going to be very, very interesting times, and it's going to be even more interesting when we have the lunar and solar eclipse occurring, which will be like, in Aries, when we're really going to just like realize what has happened. We're all going to wake up massively. And then when Mars then goes into Virgo, and, it's going to be like, whoa, what did happen? And also it would not even surprise me if there's going to be yet another crisis they bring out, to just like try and control us at that point. So we just got to just be aware that, sometimes also I think they create a bit of drama somewhere whilst they are pushing through some kind of law or some sort of mandate or something or other. Behind the scenes. So just be aware, like when there is something major going on, when they're going on about this WAR happening around the world, which I don't think it will happen. It just doesn't look like it at all because that thing with W that I was just saying is it's more to do with words really rather than action, because what they do, they know that everything that happened regarding the pathogen situation that started 3 years ago is coming out. Everything's slowly coming out, and if you are really aware where to look, look at Rumble, BitChute, Twitter is a good source as well at the moment, and just follow the right people. You just come across them if you really research, you'll get that. And I think this is the whole purpose of this now. And those people, as I was saying, all those idols who have been leading us up the garden path to take this and do that and everything else, and people have, unfortunately it hasn't worked out well for them. I've noticed there's a lot of them are wearing like boot 1 foot. So I'm just wondering if they've been like by the military. So hurrah to that really, because that's nothing to do with them. They're part of this very, very dark agenda that's been running the world, and we're all sick of it really. Personally, I've had enough. I do not consent, and I hope that our health is important. Our health, we drink clean water, good food, and rest, and actually just completely get away from the matrix of all the things that they push at us all the time, all this drama and making us feel as though we should be scared, we are not safe. Of course we are. We don't need to look at them for safety. We know if you go in, you're safe. And I realized this only like last 3 years really, because I've always been a little bit like anxious about safety and security. And since I've actually switched this nonsense off, I feel so much better. So I realized it's just programming. It's because then you become dependent on them, and then once you're dependent, they can control you. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not consenting, and there's no way I'm going to give that power away to anyone. So that's another thing. So anyway, I'm going to just show you the charts. Very interesting times coming, actually. Get rid of me. Sorry. Okay. So this is 13th of March. So you can see in the UK, Mars then travels into Migashira in Gemini. And what happens is at that point, obviously, the dispositor of Gemini, which is Mercury, is sitting between Sun and Saturn. So it's actually between two malefics. But it is it's friendly with both planets, and it's also in a friendly sign, so it's not too bad. So, but you can imagine that literally that's Migashira. All of us will actually because all this information is coming out now, we're going to really aim to find out what's going on. And then by the time we go into 16th of March, Mercury, the dispositor of Mars, is debilitated. So there's going to be this period whilst, you know, I think, you know, the good people watching out for us are going to like take over, if you like, take over the radio waves or whatever. And we should get, from that point on, we should get much more correct information about what's happening, generally speaking. What I just want to say, though, all the same, don't ever get worried about anything. If you're worried about, you know, a lot of the things that have been distributed and people have taken by really good diet, and also drinking pine needle tea or dandelion tea, you can actually detox your body. Everything is possible. And you got to understand that the whole time Jupiter is aspecting Virgo. So Jupiter's definitely got our back at that point. And also you can see that Sun is going to be in Pisces, which is the soul for, you know, for everyone. That's been protected by Jupiter as well. So I think we're going to get a lot of protection, but I think quite right that there needs to be some changes. I can definitely see, if you have a look at some of the very, very major news teams, like for example CNN, SNBC, things like that, you can just see that their actual viewing rates are so low now. I think so many people have actually disconnected from them. So I can see the demise of them. And, you know, they've been ruling the world for so long. It's really about time that we had that kind of thing taken care of once and for all. You know, the thing is, the world that we are stepping into, the 5D world, there's no room for lies and manipulation, things like that. We're going to be, the golden age is all about harmony. We're not going to look at people with their skin color or their status or their qualifications. It's going to be very much regarding your soul, your aura, and what you actually it's heart-centered love. So it those kind of things have no place whatsoever in there. But let's go back now to just see, because obviously, you know, Mars will be in there for a while. So we want to see what's going on in terms of the ascendants. So I'm just going to change the ascendants very quickly. Okay, so for you guys, Aries ascendants, this will be your first and eighth kind of ruler in the third house. So what that means for you is, like, you're going to put a lot of energy into your friends. You might start some new hobbies, and you might even start planning some form of holiday or travel of some description as well. And it'll be really, you know, you have all the tools for Aries ascendant, because the eighth house rule is searching for information. So you'll be able to gain the information necessary to make the journey. And I think the journey that you make will be really uplifting, in the sense that you will get a lot of, you know, you look at your belief system and actually just think that, you know, how do things resonate with me in every way, questioning the things that need to be questioned for you. And for next ascendant, for Taurus ascendant, this will be for you 7th and also 7th and 12th house ruler. So it could be that you are going to be spending more money in order to be connecting with your family or significant other. Really, that's where your energy is going to be pushed into, really. So you want to communicate more with your very close family. And just like, you know, 7th house is also 7th and 12th house, they're both long distance travel as well. So it could be that you spend money on a trip that's quite far away, but it'd be a really spiritual thing for you, really, because the nature of your 7th house and also 12th house is naturally far distance, you know, spiritual thing really for you. Next ascendant will be Gemini. For you will be 6th and 11th house ruler in the first house. So for you will be like you would want to really sixth house is house of competition, and 11th house and sixth house ruler. So you would really want to start activities that are to do with your friends. So maybe you want to play like competitive volleyball, basketball, football, soccer, something like that. So you just want to be involved in something a little bit more physical, a little bit more challenging. That's really what you're looking for at this point. And but I would also say don't lend anybody any money, any of your friends, because you will lose your job, lose the friend and the money. Sorry, not the job. But it could also be that, yeah, that's just be really cautious about money as well. You don't want to be like, because Mars doesn't really like being in Gemini, so just be aware, you know, of that kind of thing. But also, it just means that you'll be working hard and be of service to others as well. Next ascendant, my software does make me laugh. Anyway, for Cancer, so for you guys will be, this is like your Yogacaraka planet, so it rules your 5th and the 10th house. So it just means basically you might be completing a job, or you might actually even be thinking about like maybe you had a secondment with them, maybe you had to travel with the job, that kind of thing. It could also be that you've learned you had to do some educational thing, like get your work has actually paid for you for a while to actually go and get a degree or a PhD or complete a course. So this is like Mars is actually helping you complete that, what you're studying too. And also, obviously, it could also mean that you are finishing a job in order to start a new job. So that could be very much the case for you guys, or even being like going away to work abroad. And the next one. Oh dear, here we go. Oh, sorry, go back. Right. The Cancer is, sorry, that was correct. For Leo, so this is would be 4th and 9th house ruler. So it's going to be in the 11th house. So this creates a fantastic Dana and Raja yoga in a sense, because it creates that anyway, but it's also, you know, looking at the 5th house as well, being in the 11th house. So it's like 11th house ruler, sorry, 9th house ruler in the 11th house is a Raja Dana yoga, and also 9th house ruler, you know, just basically being in the 9th house and looking at the 5th house creates lots of opportunities of success, money, etc. So this is a really nice one for you, and it energizes your 5th house of romance too. So for you guys, it's a really nice situation. And so I would just say, you know, it could be like you are, you know, feeling a lot more joy in the home that you're in. Maybe you've gained a new home, maybe you've gained, you know, like new car or something like that. And that would be lovely. It could also be your dad or your mum, like a family thing will also happening there, that gaining a home or something. Okay. Then we have for Virgo ascendant, this will be for you, basically 3rd and the 8th house ruler in the 10th house. Now for you, Mars will be very strong because it's got directional strength. It's in the 10th house. It likes being in the 10th house, does perform exceedingly well. So this is quite a nice one. So what would be that you could get promoted, the change that could bring like a lot more success for you. It could be that you're asked to learn some new kind of form of I don't know, some new skill, maybe attend some courses, learning in order for your job, that kind of thing. So yeah, there could be a change that could be also favorable for you as well. And just be open to that change, because it could be pretty good for you too. And then we have Libra ascendant. For you, this will be 7th and the 2nd house ruler, and it'll be in the 9th house. So it creates lovely Dana and Raja yoga for you. So this is a Mars that's going to give you put a lot of energy into your ninth house of travel, education, learning, etc. And also it's house of luck and happiness too. So really nice. So being with family or spouse, it could really make you wonderfully happy and gain money too. And then Scorpio Ascendant, this for you will be first and sixth house ruler in the eighth house. So for you, that there'll be some changes in your life, personal things for you, but also it could just mean that because you've been working really, really hard, there could be some changes that will be benefiting you, because it creates a Viparit Raja Yoga through some sort of hard work and putting yourself out, applying yourself. You gain some level of respect. And then we have Sagittarius. For you, this will be your fifth house ruler in the seventh house, your 12th house ruler in the seventh house. So it could be like either you going away with your family, or you go abroad on a holiday and you meet somebody of significance. Or it could even be that you and your partner, you have a change of situation, and there's a new baby could be coming, your way. So how wonderful. But it's very romantic time for you, so all of those 12th, 5th and 7th house are very much to do with your spouse and romance, etc. And hopefully those of you who are single, you can actually see that the 5th house rule actually aspecting your first house will be fantastic. So roll on. Okay, and then the next one, which will be Capricorn Ascendant. This for you will be your 4th and 11th house ruler. It will be in the 6th house. So it could be that you've come to some money and now you want to spend that kind of doing some work, whether it's decorating or painting, updating, upcycling something in your home, or maybe your car even, that kind of thing. But I would just say, because it's the 4th house ruler in the 6th house, be very careful when you're driving, because of the simple fact that Mars makes you drive faster. So, and it could create some sort of mishap or accident. So just be aware of that, definitely. It doesn't need to be like that. You can always use the energy otherwise. But yeah, definitely, be aware of that. And also I would say, because K2 is aspecting that Mars from Libra, from there, make sure your tires are always fully, pumped up, so you don't have issues when you're driving. But yeah, it could also be that literally you are doing some competitive sports with your friends also, and your groups of friends. That could also be something that you do. You're feeling a bit competitive with your elder sibling. So, okay, next one. This is Aquarius Ascendant. For you, this will be your 3rd house and 10th house ruler in the 5th house. So it's very, very creative, very much. So 3rd house ruler in the 5th house, highly creative, highly romantic, enjoyment, being with friends, doing lovely things with your friends and your children, family, doing things together, siblings, etc. All of those things. And it could also be that you're doing much more creative work at your place of work, if you like, and that could be really igniting something wonderful within you. But you're certainly feeling passionate and excited about this period. And you'll be really communicating so differently with all your loved ones. And at work, you would just be like, you'd want to just be romantic and expressive, really. So. Okay, and then lastly, we'll have Pisces Ascendant. Pisces Ascendant for you, this will be 2nd and 9th house ruler in the 4th house. So Mars obviously doesn't like to be in the 4th house. So it could just be that, you're maybe more communicative with your mum, with your family, and that kind of thing. You're putting your energy in cooking and entertaining family, parents, etc. So bringing people together and cooking for them, making them feel really nice and welcome. Really your energy will be in family, and just enjoying time with them, really. So that's it from me. I'm sorry if I'm blurting out all these truths. I just don't think you can stop that. But I wanted to thank all of you for your lovely wishes. That I'm just like literally so honoured about that. Have a good month. I see you soon. Thank you.